Okay, so let's dive into Stefan Qin,
Right?
a name that you might not have heard before.
Yeah.
But his story, wild ride. So imagine this. You're 19 years old, fresh out of high school, launching a crypto hedge fund.
It definitely raises some eyebrows, especially in the world of finance. I mean, usually,
It's a piece of
you need experience, yeah. But Kin's youth
Yeah.
and audacity, that was part of the appeal. Like, he was in the Wall Street Journal.
Wow.
Yeah, portrayed as this financial prodigy, like, the whiz kid who cracked the code
Yeah.
of crypto trading.
And it's that image, right? That narrative, the young genius, that really plays a big part in his rise. But as we dig deeper, the question emerges, right? Was he truly a visionary, disrupting the financial world with his innovative strategies? Or was he just really good at fooling people, a skilled con artist?
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to unpack today.
You've hit the nail on the head. Kin's story really encapsulates the theme of grifter or gifted. He had the charisma, the compelling story, and for a while seemed to have the results to back it up. He was running 2 crypto hedge funds.
Wow.
Virgil Sigma, launched in 2016, and VQR, founded in 2020.
2 hedge funds before the age of 25. Okay, I have to admit, a part of me is kind of impressed.
Yeah.
But we know how the story ends. So where do things start to go wrong?
Well, let's focus on Virgil Sigma for a sec.
Okay.
Qin marketed it as a market-neutral fund, which is a strategy designed to generate consistent returns.
Okay.
Regardless of whether the market goes up or down. Imagine a ship, skilled captain, navigating any storm, right?
Yeah.
That's the image Qin was selling.
Okay, so a safe and steady way to make money in the often volatile world of cryptocurrency. Attractive.
Exactly. Especially,
So new people.
for people new to crypto or maybe those hesitant about the risks, you can see how people would be drawn in.
Absolutely.
But the reality was far from the carefully crafted image.
Yeah.
Qin wasn't implementing any complex market-neutral strategy. Instead, he was running a classic Ponzi scheme.
Oh, wow.
Taking money from new investors to pay off the older ones.
Right.
All while creating this facade of impressive profits.
So it was all smoke and mirrors.
Pretty much, yeah.
But for a Ponzi scheme to work, you need a constant influx of new money, right?
Right.
How did he keep this charade going for so long?
Well, Qin was meticulous. He was constructing his illusion. I mean, think fake account statements showing these incredible returns.
Oh, wow.
And even, bogus tax documents to further solidify the image of a successful, legitimate operation.
Wow.
All designed to keep investors in the dark and the money flowing.
It's almost like he was building a house of cards.
Yeah.
Carefully stacking each lie on top of another. But eventually, even the most elaborate structures built on deception are bound to crumble.
Yeah.
So what triggered the downfall of Qin's empire?
Well, one of the key triggers was an investor who just started asking the right questions. This investor noticed that the returns Qin was boasting about, they didn't align with the actual performance of the cryptocurrency market.
Right.
During those years. It's like claiming to have sold a boatload of winter coats during a heat wave. Something just doesn't add up.
Right. A healthy dose of skepticism?
Yes.
That's a lesson right there.
Exactly.
But it's not always easy, especially when you're dealing with someone as charismatic and seemingly successful as Qin.
Right.
So what happened once this investor started raising red flags?
Well, Qin's carefully constructed facade began to crack.
No.
Investors, spooked by the discrepancies and sensing trouble, started requesting to withdraw their money.
Oh, no.
And this is where the inherent flaw of Ponzi schemes comes into play.
Yeah.
They're entirely dependent on a steady stream of new investments to maintain the illusion of profitability. Once that flow dries up, the whole system collapses.
So what did Qin do when the wall started closing in? Did he try to cut his losses and disappear?
Disappear. No. Qin wasn't ready to give up just yet. Remember his second fund?
VQR.
VQR, yeah. In a desperate attempt to keep the Virgil Sigma ship afloat, he started siphoning money from VQR to pay off the Virgil Sigma investors.
So robbing Peter to pay Paul?
Exactly.
Didn't anyone try to stop him?
There were warnings. His own head trader at VQR cautioned him against pulling money out.
Oh, wow.
In such a reckless manner. Predicted it would cause significant losses for VQR clients.
But he ignored the advice. It seems like the deeper he went into this web of lies, the more detached from reality he became.
Yeah, it really is.
Right. It's a classic example of, the allure of maintaining that facade, of protecting your reputation, leading to disastrous decisions.
Absolutely.
So what happened next? Did he manage to keep the scheme going?
Not for long. The house of cards was already teetering,
Right.
and this desperate move just hastened its collapse. Both Virgil Sigma and VQR eventually went under, leaving a trail of devastated investors in their wake. A court-appointed receiver was brought in to handle the unenviable task of liquidating whatever assets remained.
It's a stark reminder that behind the flashy promises and impressive numbers, right?
Yeah.
There are real people whose lives are impacted by these schemes. People who trusted Qin with their savings, their dreams, only to see them vanish into thin air. But at least justice was served, right?
Right.
What were the consequences for Qin's actions?
Well, Qin eventually pleaded guilty to securities fraud in early 2021 and was sentenced to 90 months in prison. That's 7.5 years.
Wow.
On top of that, he was ordered to forfeit over $54 million.
7.5 years and millions in forfeitures. It's okay, it seems like justice was served. But this story raises so many questions. For example, how did he manage to fool so many people for so long? Was it just his youth and charisma, or was there something more at play?
Well, it's a complex mix of factors, right? You got to remember that Qin was operating in the world of cryptocurrency, a relatively new and misunderstood space.
Yeah.
Back then, there was a lot of hype surrounding crypto, and a lot of people were eager to jump on board, hoping to,
Get rich quick.
get rich quick, exactly.
So the classic allure of easy money, coupled with a lack of understanding of the underlying technology and risks,
Right.
that's a recipe for disaster.
It is. And Qin expertly exploited that environment. I mean, he presented himself as this young prodigy who had figured out a way to beat the system,
Right?
to generate consistent profits in this volatile market.
Yeah.
It was a compelling story, especially for those who were new to crypto
Yeah.
and didn't have the knowledge or experience to see through the facade.
It's a reminder that in the world of finance, and especially in the Wild West of cryptocurrency, it's crucial to be discerning. You got to look beyond the hype and the flashy promises. But how can we as investors better protect ourselves from falling prey to these types of schemes?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Yeah. I think the first step is education. Take the time to learn the basics of cryptocurrency,
Okay.
how it works, the risks involved, the different types of investments available. Knowledge is power.
So don't just blindly follow the hype
Right.
or trust someone because they seem charismatic or successful. Do your own research.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to ask questions. If something seems too good to be true, it probably is.
Right.
Probe deeper. Ask for evidence
Yeah.
to support the claims being made.
Yeah.
And if something feels off, trust your gut.
And let's not forget the importance of seeking advice from trusted financial professionals, the ones who have experience in the cryptocurrency space.
Yeah.
They can provide valuable guidance and help you make informed investment decisions that align with your goals and risk tolerance.
Absolutely. It's about finding that balance
Yeah.
between, it being open to new possibilities, but also being cautious of potential pitfalls. Cryptocurrency can be a powerful tool
Yeah.
for financial innovation, but it's important to approach it
With both.
with both enthusiasm and skepticism.
Qin's story, as tragic as it is,
Yeah.
offers a valuable lesson for all of us, right?
Yeah.
It's a reminder that in a world where charisma and controversy collide, where fortunes can be made and lost overnight, that ability to discern between a visionary and a con artist
Yeah.
is more crucial now than ever.
It is.
So how do we develop that ability, that critical thinking skill that allows us to see through the smoke and mirrors?
Well, it starts with understanding that scammers, especially those as skilled as Qin, are masters of manipulation. They exploit our emotions, our desires, our fears, and our biases to gain our trust and ultimately separate us from our money.
So it's not just about learning about financial markets or investment strategies. It's also about understanding ourselves, our own psychological vulnerabilities, and how they can be exploited in these situations.
Exactly. And that's where things get really interesting. Because the line between a visionary and a con artist can sometimes be blurry,
Yeah.
They often share similar traits: charisma, confidence, a compelling vision, and a willingness to push boundaries.
Yeah, so how do we tell them apart?
That's a great question.
Right. How do we distinguish between genuine innovation and calculated deception? Between someone who's truly trying to change the world and someone who's simply trying to line their own pockets?
I think one key difference lies in their motives and their actions.
Okay.
A true visionary is driven by a desire to create something new, something valuable, something that benefits not just themselves, but others as well.
Okay, so their actions align with their words, and they're transparent about their methods and their goals.
Exactly.
Whereas a con artist is primarily motivated by self-interest, the desire for personal gain, often at the expense of others.
Right.
They rely on deception, manipulation, and a lack of transparency to achieve their aims.
Yeah, and it's in those subtle differences.
Right.
In the alignment between words and actions, in the level of transparency and accountability, that we can begin to see the true nature of the individual.
So it's not just about what they say, but how they say it, and more importantly, what they actually do.
Actions speak louder than words.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And another key factor to consider is their track record.
Yeah.
Their past behavior. Have they consistently delivered on their promises? Have they been honest and transparent in their dealings?
Yeah.
Have they demonstrated a genuine concern for the well-being of others?
So those are all excellent points. It seems like discerning between a visionary and a con artist requires a holistic assessment.
Right.
You got to take into account their motives,
Right.
their actions, their words, and their past behavior. It's about looking beyond the surface, beyond the charisma and the hype, to see the true essence of the individual.
Exactly. And it's important to remember that no one is infallible.
Yeah.
Even the most well-intentioned visionaries can make mistakes,
Right.
can face setbacks, and can sometimes fall short of their lofty goals.
So it's not about expecting perfection,
Right.
but rather about looking for consistency, integrity, and a genuine commitment to creating something of value.
Absolutely. And recognizing that in a world where information travels at lightning speed and fortunes can be made and lost overnight, the responsibility ultimately lies with each of us.
Yeah.
To be discerning,
Yeah.
to be informed, and to protect ourselves from those who would seek to exploit our trust for their own gain.
Speaking of information traveling at lightning speed, let's talk about the role of the media in shaping our perceptions of these polarizing figures. Qin was featured in the Wall Street Journal, a publication known for its credibility and influence.
Right.
So how much weight should we give to media portrayals when trying to assess someone's character?
That's a crucial point. Media coverage, especially from reputable sources, can significantly impact public perception. It's not necessarily an endorsement,
Right.
but it can lend an air of legitimacy even to someone who might not deserve it.
So a glowing profile in a prestigious publication shouldn't be taken as a guarantee of someone's integrity or competence.
Exactly.
It's just one piece of the puzzle.
It is. And as consumers of information, we need to be critical of what we read, watch, and hear.
Right.
We need to consider the source, the potential biases, and the overall context. And we should always strive to gather information from diverse perspectives before forming our own opinions.
So it's about being media savvy.
Yeah.
About understanding how the media works, how narratives are constructed, and how our own perceptions can be influenced by the way information is presented.
Exactly. And that's a skill that's becoming increasingly important in today's world where we're bombarded with information.
From all sides.
From all sides, yeah.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the case of Stefan Qin, the 19-year-old crypto whiz kid turned convicted fraudster, what are the key takeaways for our listeners?
I think it boils down to this. In a world where charisma and controversy collide, where the lines between innovation and deception can be blurry, the responsibility lies with each of us to be discerning, to be informed, and to protect ourselves from those who would seek to exploit our trust for their own gain.
And how do we do that?
By being critical thinkers, by asking the right questions, by doing our research, by understanding our own biases, and by being wary of anyone who promises easy riches or seems too good to be true.
And by recognizing that the journey of discernment is ongoing, right?
Yeah.
It's a process of continuous learning, of refining our judgment, and of being willing to adjust our perceptions as new information emerges.
Well said. And on that note, I think it's time to leave our listeners with one final thought to ponder. How can we as individuals cultivate a healthy balance of trust and skepticism in a world that often rewards deception and punishes naivete? Food for thought.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Stefan Qin, the 19-year-old crypto whiz kid turned convicted fraudster,
Right.
what are some key takeaways for our listeners?
I think it boils down to this. In a world, right, where charisma and controversy kind of collide, where those lines between innovation and deception can be blurry, the responsibility really lies with each of us, right, to be discerning, to be informed, to protect ourselves from those who, well, would seek to exploit our trust for their own gain.
How do we do that?
By being critical thinkers.
Okay.
By asking the right questions. By doing our research.
Yeah.
By understanding our own biases.
Yeah.
And by being wary of anyone who promises, easy riches or seems too good to be true.
Right. And recognizing that that journey of discernment is ongoing.
It is.
It's a process of continuous learning, refining our judgment, being willing to adjust our perceptions as new information emerges.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself.
So, I think that wraps up our deep dive for today.
Yeah, fascinating case.
Always fascinating to see how these stories play out.
Yeah, and so many lessons to learn.
Absolutely. Be sure to join us next time as we continue to explore the intriguing world of grifter or gifted.